Once upon a time, I would watch Spain and Uruguay respectively because of Fernando Torres and Luis Suarez, who were Liverpool players at the time. Uruguay maybe has more of a connection now due to the in-laws and the family links, but apart from that, players, I didn't really care what Spain or Uruguay did, but I was happy when Torres won the Euros and the World Cup in 2008 and 2012. And Suarez, well, we all remember what he did in 2010 with the handball. Then he became a Liverpool player that following winter, if I'm not mistaken, in 2011. And then obviously we all know what happened with Suarez. Great player, but maybe just a little bit unstable up there. In any case, only times I really cared about what players did for their nations, and of course, maybe shall we say Gerrard, only because Stevie G, of course. But this fascination now with fans online talking about players' performances in internationals as though they're completely relevant or correlate to the club performances, because we've seen so far Arsenal not have the best of starts performance-wise in terms of their games, but they've got 6 points from 9, obviously losing the game to Liverpool before the international break. But it's how people online are talking about the performances at the international level that's actually got everybody in bits. And I'll put you through to this little bit here from Terry at the Football Terrace, talking about a particular tweet. I don't know if it's meant to be an insult or trying to roast Declan Rice or England, but have a listen to this.
It being annoying or frustrating, it's genuinely starting to ruin football. It's genuinely getting to a point that's destroying the game. And I saw this one tweet amongst a litany of others, and it stated, Declan Rice assist. Take a guess how we got it.
Clearly, that's a reference to the corners because that's what Declan Rice is known as. He's just known for corners. That's all his corners and free kicks. It doesn't do anything else in the middle of the pitch. Doesn't do anything else. No through balls, no shots at goal, nothing. He's a corner kick taker, a set piece master, as it were. Those 2 free kicks against Real Madrid last season really got everybody talking. And now, yes, he does have some great corners, which is where I'll show you something else. If you believe in this particular stat, maybe it will surprise you, maybe it won't. But you can see where the people are going with this, shall we say.
And I just then saw it, and this is where it starts. This was kind of like the spark in the room. Massively viral tweet, loads of people reacting to it. Corners, set pieces, spamming, bad football, ugly football, shouldn't be congratulated, shouldn't be celebrated. I just saw the rules of football, elements of the game that I have grown up on, ripped to pieces last night. And it was a little bit soul destroying.
I'll leave it there. I'll link it down below. You get the rest of it if you want to get it. Yeah, I'll link it down below. But basically, it's like people are now taking the piss out of stuff that is normal in football. Now, yes, it's fun to banter rivals, Arsenal, haha, very funny, corner FC, set piece FC, etc. Liverpool needed a set piece in order to beat them a couple of weekends ago. So I'm not really arguing on that front there. However, what I will say is if Arsenal are meant to be this attacking machine, then they should be attacking the goal and scoring free-flowing football goals, but that's not what's happening at the moment. So when you see tweets that are just basically pointing out performances of certain players at international level because they play for a particular club, that to me is a little bit misleading because Odegaard got 2 goals and assist playing for Norway against Moldova or something like that. Marino scored 3 goals and a goal before that. Rice scored a goal before that, got 2 assists against Serbia just the other day. Zubamendi as well, like against like somewhat less opposition. I think they played Andorra, England, their previous game, but they played Serbia just the other day, and Serbia got absolutely rinsed at home at the Ratko Mitic Stadium, I think it is. So unlucky for them. But using international performances to prop up certain players because they play for a certain club, that's ultimately what we are looking at. And they do the same thing for Isak, Soboslai, for Ekatike, for Salah for the longest, Van Dijk when he has a mistake playing for the Netherlands or for Holland, whatever they prefer to be called. They all look at this, they say, crap defender, shit defender. But then he'll play on the weekend for Liverpool and he'll stop a one-on-one and we win the game, 1-0, for example, or we'll help keep a clean sheet, shit like that. Allison, if he has stinkers, oh, look at Allison, but then he'll pull up a worldy save out of nowhere. Salah did nothing for Egypt, but he'll bag you 2 assists and a goal on a weekend against Burnley, for example. Like, these things happen. Florian Wirtz, we saw it as well, had a stinker in the first game. Second game, bags a cracking free kick and then does like the shush or the point to the ear or something like that. Like, yeah, what are you going to say now type of thing. I don't care what they do for their national teams. I care what they do for the club. I know Famzone were talking about this as well. Shout out to D and Dean, Hooks and George as well. They were on there talking about, like, I don't care what the player does internationally. I care what they do for the club, and some don't care what they do for the club and what they do internationally. I get that aspect. It's just frustrating to see these things. But back to the point, and referencing the thumbnail, skill issue, maybe it's a skill issue of the players themselves when they're playing for their certain clubs. Now, I'm not no genius or anything like that, or tactician. I can't get inside the players' heads. But from what I see and what I surmise in my own head, is that this is something maybe that they're not doing for their clubs because they're not instructed to, or the opposition is better than what they're playing at international levels. Now, we can all laugh at Gyökeres because he did nothing against Kosovo, and Kosovo beats Sweden at home, mind you, with the player sent off. Isak came on, had 20-minute cameo. Some say he was much better than what Gyökeres was in 20 minutes than he was all game. But that's beside the point. I don't care about that sort of shit. If Isak doesn't bag any goals for Sweden, but he's bagging goals for Liverpool, that's all I care about. But if you're a Swedish fan from Sweden or whatever it is, and he's not bagging goals for you, yes, it will be an issue for you. I get that. But rivals are just doing way too much, taking the piss out of Arsenal's players, or Liverpool's players, or United's players. Benjamin Sesko still hasn't had a shot on target or something when Ecuador play and Caicedo has a stinking game, or Diaz would miss a chance at goal or something to that effect. McAllister doesn't play well. These things do happen. These things always do happen. Now, going back to the whole set piece thing, I found this on XG Philosophy. If you subscribe to XG Philosophy, and not like subscribe, but pay attention to what they say, I found this interesting. So from the 16th of August, so just, a few weeks ago now, it says last season, 39% of Arsenal's XG came from set pieces and penalties. And at the same point, at that point, rather, I should say, well, a couple of weeks ago, 100% of Arsenal's XG had come from set pieces and penalties. Now, of course, this was before they played Leeds, and I think after and before they played Liverpool. So misleading at the time. Yes, we know it's misleading. But the sheer fact that the XGs had come from penalties, even in the first game of the, from set pieces and penalties in the first game of the season, or maybe it was, leading up to things, is a bit mad, because then you're asking yourself, so how is this team meant to be playing this mad attacking football if they're relying on the set piece aspect? And shout out to Igal, he cops a lot of stick, which, yeah, I think he knows and everybody else knows as well. But he made a little clip here as well. It says, calling Arsenal set piece FC is not an insult. It's football fans looking down on an effective way of scoring goals, which is why I say as well, there's no reason why we should be looking down at corners. However, if corners and set pieces are going to be your main outlet of how you're going to score goals in games, that's why people want to cook you. That's why people want to roast Arsenal and say Arteta doesn't have the balls. He doesn't have what it takes to go there and win. He's going to play defensive football. Oh, but we set up a certain way and we're going to play a certain way to counterattack and this and that and everything else in between. And I think I saw as well, the Liverpool-Arsenal game had like 0.10 XG each or something to that effect. Like, it was like nothing. So that was a low attacking game with intent. I think I was in the first half at least. Second half, it livened up a little bit. But beside the point, set pieces are good as an additional part to your game, not the sole part to your game. Stoke City, they relied on set pieces. That's why Arsenal are referred to as Stoke City. I'll link it down below if you want to check it out yourselves as well. But it's just this whole thing of like, let's crash it on players who don't perform internationally, but then let's also prop up the ones that do perform internationally. Odegaard can get 2 goals and an assist, or a goal and 2 assists, whatever it was, for Norway. But then against Nottingham Forest, he maybe has 1 shot on target and that's it. So what good were those goals and assists against Moldova, whoever it was? What good was that at the end of the day? Gyökeres did nothing for Sweden, but he might bag 2 goals against Nottingham Forest. What did the international games prove for Gyökeres' point? Nothing. Isak as well had two big chances, missed them, saved, whatever it was. What's there to say doesn't bag a hat-trick for Liverpool against Burnley? Like, we don't know these things, but people want to do the ultimate most with this, and it is a little bit annoying and frustrating. The agendas must agenda. I get that. It is a part of the football economy, as it were. Banter is what gets people going these days. It gets the people going. But ultimately, I just look at it and think to myself, why are we wasting our time with online nonsense like this when we can just literally observe football for what it is? The reason why Arsenal get crashed on is because they're meant to be this attacking force with great defense and a purring midfield, but we're not seeing the free-flowing goals. Not yet, at least, anyways. That may change. Liverpool, we've known that they are free-flowing football. We use set pieces here and there. At one point, we couldn't score from a set piece to save our lives. Now we're conceding from set pieces. So, these things do happen. They do occur. I just want to see people stop being shameless talking about set pieces being a terrible thing. But if you rely on them, maybe they might have a point. Maybe it's a skill issue at the end of the day. Who knows?